guys? Duckling 2014 here with my good friend Rohan Pathakamuri.
You said it wrong, but hello.
Today we are going to be theorizing what is going to happen in Poppy Playtime Chapter 5. If you guys don't know what Poppy Playtime is, it is this creepy horror game that is based off toys going rogue. So,
As an ex-employee tries to find his other employees, which are long gone, and gets into a whole nother mess.
He meets enemies like Poppy and Kissy Missy along the way, and enemies. I said friends.
No, you said enemies.
Okay, so friends like Poppy and Kissy Missy along the way, and enemies like Mommy Longlegs, Catnap, Huggy Wuggy, and Doughy the Doughman.
But there's a lot more. Doughy the Doughman used to be a friend. This goes deep. But if you don't know what Poppy Playtime is, then you should probably go check that out, because this video will get really confusing if you don't.
Yeah. So before you continue through this video, make sure to go and check out some lore about Poppy Playtime and then come back to this video.
YouTube I recommend TFG.
Quick seat change, guys, but we're back. And now, let's get into some theories.
Okay.
Rohan starting off with our first theory.
Okay, so this is actually Declan's theory, but I'm saying it because I have a lot more to add on to it. So Declan's theory is that the main villain of Poppy Playtime Chapter 5 is going to be Boxy Boo, which is a very good guess, judging that he's been teased for a while. But what I feel like is going to happen is Boxy Boo and a narrow chasing going up instead of going sideways through a hall. And then as you reach the top, you look and then you see like a flash or something like that, and Boxy Boo just falls into the abyss, which is how most characters died in Poppy Playtime, falling into the abyss.
Okay, now there is also a lot of YouTube theories that Poppy will turn on us and is the main villain of the story. And if you guys don't know who Poppy is, she is this doll who helps us from Chapter 2 moving on.
Even though she was in Chapter 1 at the very, very end.
Yes.
And now for a quick description. After a lot of stuff was leaked from Jacksepticeye once he was fired by the Poppy Playtime team, we know that the new Poppy Playtime game, despite people thinking it's going to be called the Empty Secret, is actually going to be called the Happy Secret. And also something that we do know is that Pianosaurus will sadly not be coming back.
If you guys don't know who Pianosaurus is, he is this dinosaur piano toy made by Playtime Co., which is the company that the player worked for. And he was
the Hour of Joy, which, if you don't know, is when the prototype launched an attack on all human beings in the factory, and only the main character player escaped.
Wait, what were we talking about?
Next theory.
Okay, next theory.
Okay, this theory is not going to be for Chapter 5, but is going to be for the chapter where we finally fight the prototype. So what I theorize is that Chapter 5 will actually not have Poppy in it at all and only have some referencing.
Ooh.
And when we're fighting the prototype, there's like this whole crazy chase scene, right? I mean, it's kind of the final boss. And then you just you're about to kill the prototype until the prototype starts fight back on you and pushes you back, and you're about to die.
Oh, so like Doughy in Chapter 4.
Yep. And then Poppy pops out of nowhere, kills the prototype, says I'm sorry or something, and falls into the abyss with him. Suicide.
Oh, that's honestly a really good guess. For upcoming chapters, there are some leaked characters like Boxy Boo who have not been released. There have been theorized by YouTube that there is going to be a Daddy Longlegs, a Baby Longlegs, basically these whole families based on monsters from the other chapters. Like the ones with Daddy Longlegs and Baby Longlegs would be from chapter 2 with Mommy Longlegs.
And he's probably going to be seeking revenge for killing his wife in chapter 2, which is Mommy Longlegs, which we put through a grinder when you play.
Mm-hmm. So,
but next theory is about the grab pack, because we don't know what new hands are going to be here, and possibly some old hands. What I'm thinking is that we find a green hand, but instead of the regular green hand, it's like a rusted up, which implies that it was the same hand that we used to kill Catnap in chapter 3.
oh, that's honestly a good guess. We could also get the red hand back.
Yes,
and maybe it's been altered in some way.
Yes, that's what I was
like
thinking.
the flare gun hand.
Also, we could be getting, I have 2 hand ideas, and one of them is called the hyper hand. Basically, imagine a hand, but this is split in half.
Oh.
And then you have 2 hands on one side, but they're only half hands.
That's honestly a really good idea. What's the other one?
And the other one's the propeller hand, which basically means that there's 2 ideas for it. One is that if you basically do this, you know what? I'm going to demonstrate this.
Okay. Do it.
Okay. Let's say that you have one hand. Let's say that this is the propeller hand. And then the propeller hand, when you face it backwards, when it starts to like spin or whatever, you start to like zoom backwards. And then, but you don't know what's behind you. So you have to like do turns blindly. And then the other one is that you just like do a little bit of a higher jump. You do a small jump, but you don't need a purple pad to do it.
Oh. If you guys don't know what the purple pad is, it was introduced in chapter 3.
Yep. Declan, do you have any other theories?
Let me think. Yeah. I really think that maybe even Bunzo Bunny might come back.
Okay.
Because I don't remember seeing him on the prototype in chapter 3.
Yes, but here's the thing that I'm going to think of. So, imagine this. So, Bunzo Bunny is actually probably not going to be coming back for a reason, you know? Because Mommy Longlegs is one of the bigger bodies experiments. But Bunzo Bunny and the mini Huggies, they are not bigger body experiments. The only bigger body experiments that we see in the chapter 2 games are the caterpillar ones.
Wait,
Hey guys,
now I'm gonna... Today, now introducing a new segment, Intruder.
Hey, it's me.
It's lovely, isn't
Sorry, I had
it?
to get rid of that trash.
You guys better not.
Hey, it's me, Kermit. Also, guys, it's me, Kermit.
Oh, if you guys don't know, Zach, he actually voiced Kermit in the I'm Sorry short that I made.
You guys, what's up? Hey. Hey.
And there's also going to be a video with him coming out really soon. Probably tomorrow. And he's going to be in that one like Rohan is in this one. And maybe even Brandon in a different one. We don't know.
No.
Brandon is very scared.
He's running.
I will kill him.
Now, let's get back to the theory. Hello, guys. Back again after another seat change. And we are ready to keep shooting. This will be our final theory for the night.
Wait, I have one more. So, final 2 theories.
Final 2 theories. Okay, let them rip.
Okay, so the first theory is not really a theory, it's more of a question. It's whether, it's whether Poppy will be back in chapter 5. As you remember at the end of chapter 4.
If you haven't watched it
Yeah.
or played it.
Yeah. You will probably remember that Poppy ran away as she didn't want to be taken back by the prototype and put in the cage that we found her in chapter 1. Which begs the question, will she be back for chapter 5?
My opinion, yes.
My opinion, no.
Why do you think that?
I say no because as Poppy goes away more problems the Poppy Playtime directors could make more problems arise. And as more problems arise, which are unbeknownst to us, Poppy could be missing out on that just running. And then at a random time in like chapter 6, we could meet her again as during a monster chase scene. And then Poppy could either stop that monster, run away from that monster, or, my favorite one so far, get killed by that monster.
Okay, that's actually a really good theory. Me and Rohan asked that question together before we continued shooting. He said, "What's going to be one of our final questions?" And he was like, "Okay, will Poppy return again?" And I was like, "Let's do it." So, what's your other one?
Okay, and this is the final theory of the night, everyone. So get ready for this. So in the past few chapters, we've had things like the smiling critters and the nightmare critters.
In chapter 4.
Yeah, in chapter 4, which is 2. And seeing that the Nightmare Critters theme song is way better, if possibly, we might get another.
Brand of critters.
Yup.
Like, this has been theorized, because there's been on the internet, like, Cougar McDowell made songs about these. The frowning critters, which is the alternate version of the smiling critters, and the daydream critters, which is the alternate version of the nightmare critters.
Yup. We might be getting 2 new critters, but some evidence that we might not be getting new 2 critters, which can be debunked, is that, well, how do we fit it in if we have like, is that how we have like 5 entire like monsters that we're probably going to see in chapter 5? For example, Daddy Longlegs, Baby Longlegs, Boxy Boo, and Huggy Wuggy, definitely.
Yeah, because he was at the ending of chapter 4.
But honestly, I think that we are going to get new critters, but they are not going to be a big part of the chapter. But also, we have another theory. So I
thought this was the last theory.
I actually have another theory. This is the last theory. I
But
promise.
to add on to Rohan's theory, so he's basically saying that they're not going to play a big part, like catnapping the smiling critters from chapter 3, but they're going to play a small part, like the nightmare critters in chapter 4.
Yep. And here's the final theory. Will Huggy Wuggy be in most of chapter 5, and how will we get away from him at the beginning? At the beginning, we could obviously expect to be thrown into a chase scene as the door opens. And if you've seen those ads by those weird YouTubers, Huggy Wuggy is just like... He's literally like that, I swear, in those ads. But
I've never seen them, so I can't add on to that.
But most likely, that's not going to happen. But we could expect a chase scene and expect Huggy to go missing again, or we could expect to run away from him, but know that he isn't dead. And based on further theories, is Huggy Wuggy gonna be crucial for Chapter 5? My opinion, actually, no. Because even though Huggy Wuggy being back is a big surprise, my opinion not, because it's been their mascot for all 4 games.
He really has. But they did also add on the other mascots, like Mommy Longlegs in chapter 2, Catnap and the Smiling Critters in chapter 3, and Doughy the Doughman and the Nightmare Critters in chapter 4.
Yep. But Huggy Wuggy being back is not much of a surprise, but I think Huggy Wuggy is going to be the crucial starting point of the Boxy Boo boss battle, which is probably going to be the end of chapter 5. Probably either getting knocked out and falling into a pit or barely escaping from Boxy Boo, and the credits start rolling.
Okay, so I get where he's saying that, because we barely escaped Doughy in chapter 4.
And we might get another surprise, like as crazy as Huggy. But it is getting dark now, and that was our final theory, so...
We'll see you in the next one. Thank you, Rohan, for joining me this video. And I will see you guys in the next one. Remember to like, subscribe, and comment which one of my friends you want on the show. in one of the videos, and if you want Rohan back. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.